So yeah, talking about how unfun Genji is to play against, and for example, Chromie, again, another hero that's very unfun to play against. Um,
Ah, I was muted. Excellent.
Wait, am I muted as
No,
well?
you're good. You're good. It was just me.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, Genji is very unfun. Chromie is very unfun. Maiev felt like a hero to me that while mobile, whilst he does have invulnerable, she felt very attractive to play against, which I think is probably the greatest success
Yeah,
from her design, from my perspective.
just fun to watch. Like she's got the options. She seems like a really cool hero. Um, just to reiterate what I said when I was muted, I have no idea why my streaming software crashes when I do Town Hall. It does not crash during any other show, and I rebuilt my whole entire presentation. So it's pretty weird, but sorry about that, guys. So here's what we can look at next with Maiev is just her level 10 heroics. And this is another, again, like you just think about the way the interactions work with Containment Disc. Now, Containment Disc is a skill shot. So you can think about it almost like a skill shot cocoon, right? This goes out. Cocoon is point click. When it lands, you have this monster window in which you can activate and then put this target in a full stasis. So it's like a Chromie time trap on crack that you have control of and you force that threat. I do not believe that that containment, when it's active on a target, can be cleansed. It exists as a kind of like how Chromie's Chrono Loop works. You can cleanse it as they activate it, but Chrono Loop is a predetermined time. You know, at the end of the Chrono Loop, they get pulled in. That's that. You can cleanse it at the last moment. But containment, you'd have to guess properly as to which moment cleanse needs to come through.
So the stop time effect is not affected by Unstoppable, as far as I know.
Oh, maybe not.
Johanna can get time trapped while Unstoppable, for example. She can get void prisons. You know, even D Shield, I'm not sure. Does D Shield override like stopped?
I'm actually not sure, to be honest with you, off the top of my head.
I know Leyline overrides Sanctification.
So then, yes, so stopped is officially busted. But this is like crazy utility. It's like, hey, Malfurion, have fun looking for a Twilight Dream. The moment you step in and start your animation, boop, for like how many seconds? 5 seconds this is on the 4 seconds of sitting on the target, and then you stop them for 4 seconds.
No, so
6 seconds
6
after.
seconds.
6 seconds. 6, okay.
You have 6 seconds.
Then it lasts for 4. That's it. 6 seconds is so long in a team fight. And if you die, it goes off anyways at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no misplay. Well, you have to hit it. It's a skill shot, but
yeah. So it being a skill shot, again, I think is the big thing here, because it is possible to dodge. And the other thing is, she like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, like there's an actual like step forward, like swing it.
yeah, but
and
it's
then
pretty quick,
when it flies pretty slow.
Yeah, I think the travel speed is the big. But if you're point blank, I mean, it's just gonna hit you.
If you're point blank, it's 100%, unless you're predicting that's what's going to happen in your ice block. So again, taking it back to this whole Genji thing, I feel like there's actually counterplay, like to this, like so. If Maiev's running at you and you're like, okay, so she'd do well to use Containment Strike here, or whatever it's called, then you have to think like, okay, so when's she gonna use it? She's used it about now. Ice block, Volt, you know, like movement ability, like whatever you want to do. Like there's actual, you are playing a game against each other.
Yeah.
Which really is just the thing I'm gonna highlight, I think, every time I talk about Maiev, is she's actually playing games as opposed to other heroes who are doing their own thing, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's more than you know, rock paper scissors. There's a whole guessing game. It's almost like poker where you got to predict and know what to do. So I haven't played a real game as Maiev, but I just realized you can cast your E, vault, and then cast that immediately or at any point or at the end of it. So that's like you're completely untouchable while your E is traveling, and then you're out of there. That's so busted, dude.
Yeah, so me and Dunk were actually talking about this, and Dunk, like, at some point, you know, because he was the one playing Maiev, was like, you know, maybe they should make it so while I'm in my D, I can press my E, and I'm like, no, no, don't do that.
Like, broken. It's already like busted utility seeming. So other heroic ability, probably. I mean, I'm assuming will be the less common of the two. What do you think?
Warden I think Warden's Cage really sucks. I think this is next level garbage. Actually,
yeah, it's cool, like thematically, but. I gotta say,
so the 1.5 second setup time, I think, is probably one of the first issues with it. I think the second issue is just that it's.
But what if you had 4 stacks of it like this?
Maybe then it's pretty good probably at that point. I think the main issue is that, okay, so it's got a 7-second duration and there are 8 wardens, and that sounds pretty good in theory, right? Like, oh my god, 8 wardens, like 7-second duration? This thing sounds insane. Imagine the wombo combo. But what's actually going to happen in every single game is you're going to pull people in, you're going to do it. The tank is going to, or someone is going to break one of these wardens, and everybody else is just going to stroll out through the hole that has been created.
Yeah, and sure, I like how they highlight it in the video. They're like, oh, and it creates an obvious path for the Kerrigan comp. You ain't drafting Kerrigan Maiev, boys. Like, that's not happening. You're not going to get that. Like, I think people were saying, like, oh, it's going to make Gazla viable because Maiev pulls them back in. Yeah, sure, Hero League meta, that's... Maybe that works out and looks badass in a game or something, but... I can't ever imagine myself picking Warden's Cage. If it had like a lot of DPS built into it or something, like maybe, like maybe within the ring, it's like the whole ground is taking damage. I have no idea.
So my idea for it was you cast it and the wardens slowly spin. So you break one. Or you break one of the wardens and that's your hole, but it slowly spins. So if like you get knocked back once and they're able to body block you, they're able to get in that choke, and as it slowly spins down, it then creates a situation where you need to break a second one to get out. I think that to me would make it a much better heroic. I mean, maybe it might look a bit weird, you know, the warden spinning. Maybe it might be a bit broken at that point. But I'm fine with an ability that impactful having like a 120-second cooldown or something, especially when it's so thematically cool, in my opinion. Yeah,
no, it's definitely
like it'd be a huge moment of like, oh my god, they're all in the warden's cage, like, and oh my god, the Malthaelian just casted the root, and that's got them all stuck, like. And now they need to break a second one, you know, like that kind of thing.
Damn, Illidan, you suck. You got bodied. I did nothing.
Poor Illidan.
Maiev always wins, boys. And of course, there's the whole other half of Maiev where apparently she has a lot of Batman-esque voice lines and stuff, builds. I mean, who knows how she's gonna end up being built out. There's a lot of different opportunities to be explored, I'm sure. Still, I'm sure people have found great builds, but I haven't experimented on that path, and I will not until she's actually live, because the PTRQ's monk-ass.
You could play video games, Sick. I know you've been on that stream grind, you know?
Yeah, maybe Friday, during HGC, something casual like that. I mean,
that my stream is casual, by the way, on my
the white. Oh.
The white.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It really is. You gonna buy her real skin? Her pay-to-win skin?
Probably not. I don't like the pay-to-win skin too much. I think it's fine. If it was a different hero, I'd be like, damn, it looks really cool. But I think the base model is like just as cool, if not cooler. So
yeah. I mean, this is like It's neat, but yeah, base model. That third tint, oh, it's just too good, too good. It really is.
Like, you know, if that was the skin looked that good, it was a Raynor skin, then I'd be like, yes, you know, like let's go. But it's not. It's Maiev who looks badass already. Like,
yeah. She's gonna need like flaming spalders to get me to buy a skin. Cool stuff though. Obviously, she's something the community's been asking for, something that's anti-mobility. She will be good against the Genji. She will be good against the Hanzo retreat just because she can force pull him back in. Any of those abilities that dash away can be good. But those things can be cleansed. Tracer can recall out. It's not like there's no counterplay. I just think she's a nice, refreshing thing. But I will go ahead and say this is, again, another situation where I wish our classifications in the game were better. Calling her just a flat assassin is weird. She's really bruiser, right? Her kit feels far more closer to Sonya than it does to Zeratul. Zeratul's called an assassin. Sonya's called a warrior. Where's our bruiser classification? Put Maiev in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping at some point for the rework. I think there's a lot of potential. I think I was talking about this on my stream today, actually. Like, education in Heroes of the Storm, like just the general knowledge level of the player base is nowhere near where it should be. And I feel like a much higher percentage of players in Heroes of the Storm are not watching streams, not looking up guides, not looking at YouTube videos, not watching esports compared to other MOBAs like Dota or Indeed League of Legends.
And I you know, I ranted about this a little bit last week. I'm not sure if you caught it, but you know, I've been playing Arena of Valor on my phone, and they have this whole news portal. They have all this information. They have built-in guides in the game.
Dude, no. Don't go there. Don't go there. Like, I did this like a few months ago, dude, where I started playing that game like a fair amount. I was just like, these features, man, they're
pretty good. They're pretty
good features there. Like,
yeah. The game's in a great state for that, but like, what I'm getting at here is the HGC team. So this is the Heroes of the Storm esports site, not the Heroes of the Storm site, and that's something I want to clarify. That which is kind of interesting to me. They have a new segment called Opening Moves, and this is all designed to be educational. Opening moves, 5v5 mid. Why do we do this to ourselves? And it's these articles that are analyzing kind of opening situations, the 4-1 split, the various settings. This is all really good information for a newer player, right? But the only way to find this website is if you're already tuned into the esports scene via the heroesofthestorm.com/esports site. This content does not exist on the Heroes of the Storm official site, and there's no way to stumble onto it if you're in the client. Maybe it's on the launcher. It probably is on the launcher, but the launcher is a temporary promotion that does not exist. It does not retain itself as an archive or a resource in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, just fundamentally, I'm going to say it every single week. This is my devotion. Every single week, give us a news tab. I don't care if it's just a bunch of links that bring us to the browser. We know that can be done via ranked play, because this just brings me to a browser at the end of the day, right? The Nexus barfed, congratulations. But now I'm on a ranked play website, and I think that is the most important thing for the game right now, is to have an actual hub. And I will say it every single week on the show forever.
I think, again, so this is what I get into is people in my chat were asking, okay, so like how do I make my team do this, and like why don't my team understand this? And it's like, well, because the people on your team aren't the people watching the educational content. Like, the people watching the educational content are the people who are climbing, are the people who like are really putting a lot of work in, and we need some help. I think just from Blizzard. I think that's the only way it can come, outside of a literal like me, Dunk Train, Paddy Time, Dreadnought, like Gillyweed, J How, you with TownHall, like all of the podcasts, like everyone banding together, paying someone a ton of money, making this huge website, everyone making like a guide a week or something, you know, that's the only other option, like, in my opinion. Those are the two options.
I don't think that's an option. I don't think that's
it's not realistic. There's no way that can happen. And the amount of resources and money that needs to go into that is insane.
That's like, not even the point. It's the point is the average player is just logging into the game. And if there's additional content to be consumed while you're in queue within the client, people are going to poke around. They're bored. They're waiting for their queue to pop. They're already engaged in the game. What can I look at? People will probably go in the store and look at skins and be like, yeah, that's the next skin I want to buy. I want that. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? That's cool, right? Because then they're selling skins. But guess what? Other content to educate and be meaningful. Oh, I'm playing my first game as Ragnaros in a while. Where can I find a build? How much would you like to be able to, in the game, look at a build? Now, yes, Heroes, Hearth and websites like that benefit from those tools not existing. But at the end of the day, it's best for the community if those tools do exist. And we got to be a little lewd. It's episode 169, They Hero. We got to be a little lewd. Get some Jake-gasms in the chat because I demand it. But I think we're going to keep referencing this until we have it. I think we have to keep being whiny bitches about these tools. Because now that I'm actually playing Hero League, I have nearly 400 games this season. People just do not understand. So we played a game, and I'm going to give you one example today of a game where it just ended up feeling really bad. Unfortunately, this player was actually, I just said, I'm like, the Brightwing pick really kind of hurt us here. And he's like, okay, can you explain? And he last picked Brightwing against a composition that we knew had Lunar Gul'dan. And he just doesn't understand that there's no way that he can heal against that. We had no poke in our composition. For some reason, I first picked Ragnaros and Braxis holdout. Some other guy decides to play Alarak. That was part of the issue because we had no real meaningful poke against them. But Brightwing just cannot heal through that. And this guy just thought, well, Brightwing has AoE healing. That's enough, right? But let me tell you, those poisons come through. You just, if you pick the new 3, it's the same situation. You just cannot keep up with the number of healing. It's not the healing output of a Stukov or the new Malfurion or a Lucio or whatever. In some compositions, like there's no resource to teach them that, right? There's no one-stop location to I think there actually used to be a draft website. I don't think it exists anymore that would tell you what you need in your situation.
It sucked though.
Yeah,
it was wrong.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's and the Brightwing was like, actually, you're right. That makes a lot of sense. They were receptive to that feedback and that scenario, which is great. But it would be so cool to have a drafting 101 segment, like with like quizzes onto like what do you pick here kind of thing. Like that could be an article. Maybe that's the next article that Dialux does.
Again, even if Blizzard is the one that puts the article and it goes on the main site, I still don't feel like the right people are going to be reading it, honestly. Yeah.
That's why it has to be in the game. That's why it has to be in the game.
I don't even know if it's in the game if people would read it.
I think when they're in queue, you at least have the chance, right? The chance of discoverability. And maybe it has to be as linear as like build guides, because we've seen other games like Dota, you can literally choose like your guide and it'll like basically tell you what items to buy as you go through. And that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. But it is staggering at how uneducated the player base is as a whole in terms of like meta and the happenings. I mean, I know I ranted a few weeks ago about the Malfurion rework and people just being oblivious in GM games with Dunk Train. He said he had people that didn't know Malf was reworked. They're just oblivious to patch notes. They just kind of like click log in and play, and that's totally fine. I'm not flaming you if that's your playstyle. You just want to play the game. But the game could be doing a better job by having Malfurion have an orange border around him. Be like, look, I've changed kind of thing or something. And I feel like the Malthael changes that are coming. We'll get to the patch notes in a bit. Same story, right? You log in to play Malthael. He feels way different. You might think that you're just playing like a garbage can, but no, he actually fundamentally is going to function a little differently.
I think the same thing, by the way. Like, I really like the idea of logging in, getting a prompt of like, hey, since you last logged in, there's been a patch. Some form of a bus system. Like, so I'm not sure if you've seen the Battle.net launcher has like has this really cool news segment. Like if you click news, then it's got articles. Wait, it just says whoops for me right now. It just doesn't load. Anyway, as I was saying, it's got this really cool thing where it's the tab articles down the left, and like it's like the body is in like the other window, right?
Yeah.
And it's super good. You can click on it every now and then. It gives you news for like whatever you can filter it to. So, you know, do I want news from all Blizzard games? Do I want news from any heroes? You can just go down the list and see what you've missed, basically. I feel like if we had that same kind of feature, you log in, it's like, here's the patches that have happened since you last logged in. And you just keep that in a little button up at the top, you know, like near the gold, let's say, like patches. So you log in, it pops up, okay, there's been a patch. So you click it, it instantly, like the icons, like the pictures on the left show what heroes were changed.
What's new? New
like,
releases, whatever. Like
yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
when there's new skins, it could be like, okay, here's new skins. Like,
yeah,
just generally news to show people how regular and how much the Nexus is actually updated, because it's updated a lot, by the way, guys. Like, there's a huge amount of content coming into the game.
mean, when I logged into WoW last night for the first time in a long time, it showed like the Azeroth progression thing, allied races, all these pretty graphics that are like 3 big new things. Like this is what's new in the game, and that's it helps you get pulled back in so much more quickly. Is there an audio issue?
What?
Sound quality.
Oh, no, we're talking about voice chat.
Gotcha. Oh, I see.
People are highly anticipating voice chat when we get to the patch notes, which we should probably do about now, by the way, Jake.
Yeah, let's hop into the patch notes, because I've heard good things about the voice chat. I have yet to test it myself. You just typed in the chat, sound qualities are Discord level. You're listening to Discord sound quality via Bakery's microphone right here. Obviously, that's a nicer microphone, but still, Discord is the medium. And
wait, Jake, so if I log in to the PTR right now,
let's try it. Let's do it live. Let's do it.
Can we do party voice chat?
Let's try it.
Do I have you?
I don't know, man.
All right, hang on. I'll read my battle tag out. So it's Bakery.
No. I type mine. You just copy paste that.
Okay.
I don't want you to have to deal with random weird friend requests.
I get a lot of weird random.
So do I, man. I know how it is. That's why I'm trying to help. Just trying to help you out, man. Less clicks in your day.
God, the load screen's huge.
Yeah, it's a monster. Let's listen to some Maiev ambiance. Okay, mute yourself on Discord. I'm going to mute myself on Discord. All right, how do we do this? We're in a party. Voice settings.
Hey, Jake, what's up?
Oh, I hear you. Can you hear me? Take that as a no. Can I talk now?
Jake, hello. Can you hear me?
Yo. Sec. We're doing it live. There must be a push talk button.
So anyway, guys, if you're listening, this is basically a demonstration of how strong the sound quality is, and the seamless integration actually when you join a game, if you're in a party, is almost instant swap between channels. All very high quality stuff. Simple prompts that come up in the top right.
Can you hear me now?
Just in general, voice chat as a feature has been fantastically executed, technically.
I would agree. I set it to open mic, so I assume you can actually hear me now. I don't know what the push talk hotkey is, but that's sweet. But yeah, I literally cannot tell the difference between Discord and the gameplay. That's
it's
insane.
really solid.
And it's so funny because when, you know, they announced this and people were talking about voice chat, they announced it a while ago. We didn't know it was coming with this patch or anything. And people were asking, Jake, are you going to use voice chat when it comes out? And I really didn't think I was going to. I was like, the voice quality is going to be garbage. I don't want to deal with it. I think they added voice chat to StarCraft or something like a few years back, and it was unbelievably bad, right? So I never used it again. And if it's going to sound this good, then yeah, totally could be using it in the future, and that's going to improve Hero League quality. And there was a thread on Reddit. Somebody said, just, you know, make sure to call out the people that are being unreasonable twats in Hero League. And I'm going to echo that. If people are harassing someone, right? I have many female friends that play Overwatch in different games, and the bullshit they put up with just because they're a woman when people hear their voice is gross. Flame that person, report that person, and carry on. Just mute them. And that's the beautiful thing about voice chat is it's very easy to mute someone. And when I say flame that person, I should probably revoke that. Don't flame them, because that doesn't breed a good environment. Just makes it worse. Just report them, mute them, move on, and, you know, let the victim know, like, screw that guy, mute them. Let's keep playing our game, right? Just kind of like give them the reassurance that not everyone on the internet is an asshole.
I think there's been a lot of discussion about voice chat and the issues that it does present. Obviously, to our community, and I agree with that sentiment. There are definitely going to be some issues, and that's really unfortunate, and there are going to be some people who have a tougher time than others, and again, that's really unfortunate. But the potential for this feature to really improve like the gameplay experience, to finally make Hero League not feel so incredibly lonely, it's something I'm incredibly excited for. And just the way that this can really turn Hero League into a much closer analog of competitive play, I think that's going to be really healthy for the game and the scene.
Agreed wholeheartedly. It's a big step up in terms of that functionality. We were talking about the lack of tools that we want to see in the game. This is one of them. We're getting voice chat soon. The execution seems very good, and it's a huge step for Heroes of the Storm, especially for those that are looking to play in Hero League and play in a competitive environment. In quick match, I wouldn't anticipate a high usage on the voice chat, because some people just want to play their game. But for Hero League, I think it's going to be a really big deal moving forward. So we've already talked about Maiev, so we're going to scroll down. We can quickly appreciate the Lunar event skins really fast. Bakery, which one's your favorite?
I'm not too big a fan of any of the Lunar event skins this year, I must say.
Really? I like the Zul'jin one a lot. I think the Zul'jin one's dope.
Oh, Sylvanas, actually, is my favorite.
Really? That's my least favorite.
Really? Well,
I have trouble like knowing that Sylvanas, honestly.
Yeah, that's my major concern. Is I think this is a skin that I'd definitely be saying, let's ban this from HGC. Because
it's hard.
Looks very similar to Valor for me. I'm not sure I'd be able to recognize the silhouette as being
her abilities are all like red, I think red tinted, right?
I think the thing itself is actually very nice.
Baker, am I listening to you on Discord or on?
No. You're listening to me on party chat.
We're still in party chat, guys. That's amazing.
Yeah, no. So this was the insane thing, actually, is that me and Dunk literally we got together and we were like, oh hey, voice chat's in the game. We should try it out and see how good it is. We literally spent the entire 2.5 hour stream just on party chat, and every time we join a game, we'd swap to team chat, chill with our team. Like, we'd leave the game, it would instantly, in the load screen, Jake, it even works in the load screen. And as soon as we left the game, it would just automatically swap us back to party, and we could talk through the load screen.
That's actually incredible.
I mean, do you want to try it in a custom right now?
No. I mean, I get it. I think we've already
just to demonstrate.
Okay.
I feel like this is useful, yeah, for the community. Maybe it hasn't had a chance to try it out yet.
All right, so custom game, Volskaya, everyone's favorite map.
Oh, the punish is broken now.
You mean the Triglav?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not broken.
The Triglav?
Yeah, the protector. Sorry.
So we're adding that to
team
AI.
chat, as far as I know, does not work in draft. I think it's only once you get in the game.
Okay, so we're gonna go to tournament draft, coin toss.
Oh no! Don't do this. It'll take bloody ages, Jake.
Nope, it's happening. I want to see the interface.
Wait.
Join
Jake!
team. Join team chat. Get in team chat. Hey.
Hello.
What's up? Made it to team chat.
Guys, it works in now.
It's working.
Just in case you know. And look, so you can click on individual people.
Fuck this guy. Get him out of here. Muted that bitch. Demonetized, by the way. Welcome back, Bakery.
Oh, hi.
Oh, God, too loud.
Back. Hi. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. It was my fault. I brought your volume up too much.
The one thing that is slightly annoying for me is there's no number on that slider.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hey, Jake.
What's up?
I'm envisioning none of our team have joined the team chat, and we're like, okay, well, you know, they're hovering murkies as well. You know, they're really ruining the experience for us. So let's go back to party.
Let's go back to party chat. Get out of here. We're back to party chat.
It's that seamless. It's that seamless.
But dude,
instant join, instant leave.
I mean, the wait was worth it, right? It's in the top left corner. It's very intuitive. I've played a lot of different games over the years that have had voice chat, and I've been confused as to how the interaction works and how the integration works. Like many different games. And this execution is very simple. I can disable voice right out of the gates if I want to do that. And yeah, I disabled voice for a demonstration. Yeah, I'm back. I clicked disable voice, and just straight up, like that one headphone button just means get me out of here. I don't want to hear those nerds. And it's so accessible. There's no pressing tab. It's just there. It's ready to be used, and it's a great execution. And I like the chat log notification. Party voice joined, left. Open mic, you know, it notifies you that your mic's open. It's like, by the way, you have push to talk disabled. You might want to think about that. Is there a shortcut? I mean, I'm sure you can set a hotkey. The game should have the tools to set a push to talk hotkey for whatever you want to use, or to mute it, or whatever.
Yeah, there is a hotkey to cycle channels. So I believe like it's not currently set to anything, but you can press that and jump between team and party, I believe. But yeah, it's like this throughout the entire experience. Right now, you can see there'll be an indicator next to their name when people are talking. But in the game, it actually displays in the top right.
We'll get there. We'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
We'll get there in like 10 minutes, Jake. Like,
hey, the bots are drafting really meta stuff. They picked Hanzo.
Really? They picked
Van Murky.
This isn't meta. But yeah, like me and Dunk, we spent the entire stream just amazed at the quality that was being provided.
Yeah, it's legit. And I hope this is like, I hope we're not spoiled because the servers don't have a lot of stress because of the PTR, and the PTR is low bandwidth overall in terms of the amount of people using it. I hope we don't see like a big decline in quality. If it happens, it happens, right? It's like, you know, there's obviously a lot of people that are going to be on BattleNet using those resources. Man, can you imagine in a world where we got swaps like this in Hero League?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? I don't think I have Maiev though, so that is weird.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
We learned a new way to let you play a hero you don't own. Find a friend, make them swap with you in draft, and see what happens. We're gonna find out live the result.
And but by the way, Jake, that we just swapped to the load screen. We're now in the load screen.
We're still talking.
Everything...
That's amazing.
Yeah, right?
But are you gonna get to play Maiev?
I don't know what's gonna happen, honestly.
The suspense is killing me. Who's gonna load first? Jacob Bakery! Whoops! Made it. Bakery, God.
Oh,
step up your game, son.
And hey, we're still talking.
Wow, we're still in comms. So this has all been the whole podcast has been in voice chat.
The top right here, it shows.
Oh wow! It has the hero in it. Oh my God! So you know that it's the Malfurion that's being an ass in your game. Like, God damn it, that Malfurion, mute him. I hate him so much. By the way, I'm Malfurion.
So yeah, this execution has just been fantastic.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's legit. Voice chat, dope addition to the game. Can't wait to see where it goes. I abandoned our game, Bakery. Oh, that's not the that's not the right.
We're still talking. I'm still in the game, and I'm still talking. By the way.
Wow, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
you're in the game. I'm out of the game, but it knows. So that's really, really well done. Bakery is now in the quit screen and still in chat. So obviously it's a BattleNet integration, but the actual way it's done within the game is very elegantly done. PTR does have a patch that goes beyond Maiev, and one of those changes is Greymane. So Greymane's a hero that, you know, when we look at him, you often get Gilnane Cocktail at 1, 4, and 7. It's a pretty common thing to do. There might be some talent.
Are we swapping back to Discord?
Why? It sounds great to me.
I mean, I want to close the game. You know, I want to move on.
All right, Bakery, leaving the party. You're not my friend anymore. Back to Discord. Tell me if you can tell the difference.
I think I can tell the difference very slightly.
Yeah, it's a little bit there. All right. Well, I almost want to say hero sounds better. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think you can definitely argue that it's a different voice codec, so it sounds different. But in terms of the actual rule quality, I think it's hard to argue one's better than the other, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they both seem very high bandwidth.
Pretty epic stuff. So Gilnane Cocktail, mana reduced, explosion area increased, level 4 drought overflow removed as a result. So they're looking for a level 4 variety. That's the only change at the talent tier is the talent's gone. They kind of built in the additional splash into the talent. Level 1, the mana refund for hitting hero has been reduced from 50 to 35 because they reduced the mana cost by 15. Talent diversity is what they're looking for once again with both the 1 and 4 tier. And then Wizened Duelist, every 6 attacks as an enemy hero increases the basic attack damage by 1 up to 30%. So they've basically just kind of reworked this talent a little bit so that, yes, it's still got that reward if you don't die. You gain triple the benefit while in Worgen form, but you still get the benefit in human form. These are just straight buffs to Greymane, right?
So no.
No.
So he's not moving very far.
No, it's not a huge change or anything, but it is build diversity.
So here you go. So if you're in the chat, take a guess without looking it up at how much the explosion area increase was on draft overflow at level 4. If I don't, just take a guess in chat. Type the first thing that comes into your head. Jake, do you want to have a go?
50%. I don't know.
50%?
I have no idea.
Well, the base was increased by 15.
Well, that's the change in this patch. Yeah, I have no idea what it was in on live. I really don't.
So the talent was 35. So our chat is very on point here.
God, they're so much better than me. Chat, take my job.
Almost everyone going for 35. Some people have been going for 30, which again is very close. But the actual number, the actual number that's being increased by base is only 15. So that's actually a significant step down. That's going to mean slower stacking on the level 7. It's going to mean less damage.
Sure.
And in the league game, it's going to mean it's much harder to kill people over walls. So,
which I think is totally fine, right? That's obviously a big because like, what does Greymane have wrong with him? And like, nothing.
So it's
he does
fine,
everything.
I'm just saying this is actually, in my opinion, a nerf.
Okay, but all right, so I can definitely agree with that. But at least it's baseline, and at least we now have options, right? Perfect aim is,
I like the direction.
Is less of a necessity because it does less for you. But the additional 30% range obviously is nice, so it's still going to be a compelling talent. But maybe you want Wolfheart, maybe you want Viciousness. Some players will even take that nowadays before this change. Level 4, with the talent gone, yes, the overall power and splash range has been dropped significantly more than half. But Eyes in the Dark is going to be good, especially if you're worried about, going to ham and wanting the additional utility in the retreat. Thick skin
as well, perfectly fine.
Yeah,
exactly. The one thing I am slightly concerned about is it's either Eyes in the Dark or Thick Skin. There are realistically only 2 talents at that tier.
Yeah.
Because the other one is Inner Beast attacks with still mana, which I don't want to touch that one. So
I don't understand that talent at all either. But maybe they can find something to replace that. But it's at least you have 2 interesting options that are both going to be compelling for their own reason. And at the sacrifice of, less splash range, at least we're getting a little bit more baseline, right? I think it'll help, if they did not give us the additional explosion area by 15%, I feel like that would feel pretty rough. And then I feel like the Wizened Duelist change is cool too, because it's going to affect you no matter what form you're in. It's going to give you more DPS in that regard. If you can maintain it and not die, it'll reward the players that can consistently just keep that up. Maybe they go Eyes in the Dark, maybe they go Thick Skin. Both those talents are going to harmonize with Wizened Duelist, and it won't necessarily always be Incendiary Elixir build. Yes, it's a very good talent, but who knows? We could see variety in the future.
Yeah, I think Wizened Duelist is actually a pretty smart take on how to redesign Wizened Duelist, because it sucked before, honestly. Like, it's just a terrible talent design.
Yeah, it was too linear.
You die, all of the bonus is gone. It's so frustrating. It was completely out of your control, basically, because sure, maybe you can get 1 or 2 kills, but generally you were just relying on your team snowballing, and then you'd get a 30% increased damage. This is completable whether you're behind, whether you're ahead, and without relying on your team to be a very divey like kill composition. Definitely a stronger talent, in my opinion, than the old one. It will take a long time to stack up, which is the one thing people do have to realize.
Yeah, definitely. But the fact that it's a pretty consistent climb up, like 30%, you're going to be an absolute beast. That's 30% additional damage, right? That's huge. But, with the Inner Beast popped in human form, you attack very quickly. And you can, if there's a Diablo in the enemy team, you're just peppering on that DPS, just getting those free charge. Like, say, shadow charge me, go for it. My team's going to pop you in a lot of the early laning phases. And I think I definitely like this more if it was an earlier game talent. I think at 7, there's going to be less opportunities on some maps to get that free consistent damage, because you're not in lane as often. But
well, I don't think completing this talent is a realistic aim.
No, I don't think so either. But it's still got, again, the gradual benefit, right?
Yeah. So, again, we're not going to be looking at 30%, but I think we are going to be looking at about 10%.
That's still very meaningful, though. Yeah, and
absolutely,
if you do manage to hit that 30%, that's like, holy crap, this Greymane is a god. We can't do anything about him, right? And that's so cool to have that in the game, because it's not a common thing in Heroes of the Storm to feel like this hyper carry, and giving him a talent that will theoretically enable that is fantastic.
So someone was talking about human range. The issue with Quicksilver bullets at level 7 is basically just that his entire kit is supposed to flow around being in range to auto. If you're in range to auto, you're in range to E. When you increase his auto range, it makes him very clunky to play, because you're not in go for the third range, you're not in E range, and at times you can even be out of Cursed Bullet range. like, even though that's quite a long skill shot,
Really?
people can actually dodge it if you are that far away when
they can dodge it. Yeah, it becomes easier to
So,
dodge. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's that talent. While in the theory it's very strong, how clunky it makes him is just very frustrating to play, and often leads to it like having a terrible win rate across HGC, across even Hero League and stuff like that.
Now, like, if this had like a second benefit to it, maybe it makes your, I don't know, maybe it had some kind of benefit for the Warden form as well. Maybe it makes your Warden form engage have a longer range, like your E has a longer cast range or something.
But at that point, it's probably broken.
Right. So it's like, what's the harmony? And yeah, you can say if you pick this talent at level 7 and you get to level 20 and you've picked up on the Prowl for the additional movement speed, and you've picked up Hunter's Blunderbuss, yes, at level 20, that Greymane is an absolute beast of a ranged assassin doing huge damage. But again, that in between 10 and 20, you know, on the Prowl with the additional range is probably really nice. It probably is. So maybe there's some merit. We're not saying you can't do that in Hero League with a new Greymane. I think there is definitely merit for it if you want to play Greymane as more of a ranged assassin that has Warden form as a benefit. But we're not going to see that in pro play, I don't think. But we got to keep chugging along through these patch notes. I mean, that's the changes for Greymane. I'm excited about them. Malthael is like my least played hero. I hate him. I don't like playing Malthael. Do we even want to talk about him?
Yeah, probably. Let's just a little bit. But so I don't hate Malthael. I don't dislike him being in the game. I don't dislike playing against him. But playing him, there's a few heroes like this in the game where I play them and I actually just want to cry. Like, I just feel like crushingly sad when I play them, and I don't even know why, honestly. But Malthael, Dehaka, and Lili are the prominent three. I just do have no interest in playing them at all.
Yeah.
So I haven't played this new rework, but I did get the chance to play against it. And what I have to report is that he's got very strong wave clear. And his trading potential in lane or out of lane has gone way down. So for some context, I'm playing Stukov. I meet Malthael on the vision, okay? We start hitting each other like men, you know? He runs away after a few seconds. He was at 40% HP. He just didn't restore any HP. He didn't do enough damage to me. I end up on about 80% HP. And I mean, I know Stukov trades well in a 1v1, but I did the same thing against Rag about 2 levels later, and Rag we traded about even. So I mean, I feel like on live pats, Malthael would have done the same to me, where I would have been the one running away with that 40% HP. And again, maybe he'd also be at 40%, but it just felt like his damage, because the trait has been nerfed, because his auto attack damage has been nerfed, and just because his talents don't do as much to single targets anymore, his trading potential felt terrible.
That's interesting. I mean, I feel like he's still going to have his place as a solo laner because he's got lots of AoE. I mean, Die Alone is always going to give him good single target DPS in the solo lane scenario. But when you look at Tormented Souls without armor in that late game teamfight scenario, he is going to become infinitely more focusable, right? Like, that's the lack thereof. His armor, well, that makes a big difference. Yeah,
so people were upset about like armor being removed from Tormented Souls, and I still don't think that's a big issue. So with his E buff and with his auto buff, their aim is to make it so that realistically Malthael can apply marks to multiple people without taking Tormented Souls, which I think, okay,
it's smart. It's good. It's good game design.
But
sure.
Still, if you want to engage on an enemy backline, it's still unrealistic that you hit an E, you run forward, you hit a W, and they're still all stacked in your auto cleave.
Yeah.
Especially at a high level, like they would have moved out, they would have split up, and you're not going to get the mark applied to everyone. Right. So I still think Tormented Souls has a place in that scenario where you want to dive a backline and you know they're all stacked up and you want Tormented Soul, spam the Q, like, you know, Nano Boost or something like that, maybe, like, I still think that definitely has a place. Last Right's probably still a bit garbage. The damage is really lackluster. Just across the board, 65 seconds to cooldown is still insane. I appreciate the idea of a quest, but when that kind of ult starts at 65 seconds, it's just not viable, in my opinion. It might be now, because Tormented Souls isn't going to be great in every scenario. So, you know, you might pick it a few times, but it still seems like a bad ult to me.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know some people are actually really excited for his changes. I think the general community feel like he has been nerfed heavily. And that would be my guess. Like I said, I don't play a lot of Malthael. This feels like pretty sizable nerfs to him in the long run. And Baker, it sounds like you're echoing that as well.
I don't think he's that bad. I think what he lost in terms of self-sustain, in terms of 1v1 trading, he did gain in certain other areas. So he did basically get a much easier way to engage. He did become a very fast wave clearer with those cleaving autos. Like, he's really fast at clearing that stuff now.
Yeah.
His Q, of course, actually probably becomes viable on maps like Infernal Shrines and as a Shrine Clearer, because he can actually apply the mark to them and then damage them with the Q instead of damaging them with his trait. So I do think Malthael is probably still going to be about viable. He's probably slightly weaker, but the big question is he going to get dongled in a solo lane? And my initial impression is no. But if he does, then he's useless. He can't be picked. He did get nerfs in the solo lane, definitely. But I still don't think he'd get dongled in it.
I think die alone should be enough for him to maintain a solid position there. But I guess time will tell. But Tyrael got a few changes. Healing and the shield destruction has been increased from 125 to 140. This is just the salvation. That's the one big shield for Tyrael. I can't remember the name of the other one for the team. It's talents. Justice for All has been probably the most popular pick at level 1 that I've seen, just because it's got a lot of good, you know, not only healing for your team, but on the minion wave, there's a lot of value, especially if you have to put them in a solo lane. You know, one thing that Kala mentioned nicely on Open Division last night, Dahaka pops his AoE trying to clear the wave. Tyrael drops that big shield, and it completely nullifies Dahaka's wave clear. And in a 1v1 setting, that's like super impactful. We've seen divas do similar things with their defense matrix, but with Justice for All, that's totally a big value in the solo lane.
I think Justice for All, very strong talent. I don't think either of these are competitive with it, despite the buffs. Is my opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see that echoed in pro play as well when these changes go live, because it's just got so much utility outside of just the team fight, additional sustain, right? So it's really nice. Stalwart armor, level 4, you know, 6 seconds, give or take, of full 25 armor. It's probably been the most picked talent at the 4 tier by a long shot. They tried to just bring it down to 20 armor. It's still 20 armor with very high uptime available.
Yeah, so I think the issue on this talent, so Blizzard have talked a lot in the past about apples to apples, orange to oranges in terms of talent trees, and people think it's boring. And sometimes I do agree it is boring when executed well. I personally have fun with it, but I think it's been executed badly a bit too often. And people picked up on that and said, we don't enjoy this, rightly so. So sometimes they try to stray from that. And what we saw here is that we saw one talent that gave armor, one talent that increased the slow amount, and then one talent that healed.
The heal talent feels miserably bad.
Now, realistically, healing for 50% of a Tyrael auto is just not even close to balanced. So, okay, that's severely undertuned. Like that talent's gone. And then, okay, the slow amount, like it's on a survival tier. Like Tyrael's the tank who's not got a huge health pool and is not got a stun. Like health is very important to him. So therefore, you need to pick a survival talent. And then Stalwart Armor is a strong talent on this tier of one talent that's not in your consideration and one that's severely undertuned. So despite nerfing that talent, I feel like that was the complete wrong direction because the other two just suck.
I think, what do you think about this? So Bound by Law, we're talking about just crowd control, right? That's the entire purpose of this talent, is to give Tyrael more control or more chase, theoretically, right? Because it's all additional slow on his Q. What if when Tyrael teleported to target location, any hero around him gets stunned? Giving him a stun in his baseline, would that be too busted?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So people don't understand this, but Tyrael is actually very reliant on his trait. His trait is what completes the hero. And people all the time they complain like, oh, you know, I hate that trait. It's so boring. It sucks. He has to die for it. When are we getting a trait rework? Like, it is like absolutely crucial to the way that Tyrael plays. Tyrael plays as a frontline diver. And when he dies, if you decide, okay, Tyrael's diving our backline, he's doing some damage, he's ignoring our carry, let's all turn and as5 focus him, you can't do that. That's literally his form of CC, is being in the enemy team, body blocking and doing damage and zoning. That's his form of control. Is instead of actually stunning people, he slows them, he annoys them, he body blocks them, he does damage to them, he forces them to move in directions he wants them to. And his assurance that he can do that is his trait. That's the only reason he even works as a hero. As a solo warrior, he'd need to do way more damage if he didn't have his trait. And then he'd be a bruiser. But, like, yeah. So his trait is absolutely key to the way that he works. If you removed his trait, you would need to give him a stun or something like that. But if he had both, he would be the most broken thing ever.
Fair point. Fair point. Chad is so mad that you said his trait is fine and good. They're so mad.
I think not that bad.
Oh, they're livid.
I saw one person agree with me and say his chat is just fine. I saw one person said prepared to be lynched, and then no one has disagreed.
I can feel it. They're mad at you. Well, Tyrael, the rework has felt really good to me from seeing him a bit. You know, I watched a couple games in HGC China. He was played in open division, you know, last night, and I personally think he's going to be a lot of fun to see. Just these aren't any like crazy nerfs or anything for him. I think it's a good step in trying to get that talent diversity that Blizzard is always looking to provide for a hero. We are going to move to HGC, and you know, we're trying to keep tonight a little bit shorter, so we're going to kind of power through HGC. And I know some of you guys are saying, hey, why don't you guys do an hour-long show on HGC? It's tough. It's tough unless we have a pro player to join us here to really get that in-game insight. And next week we have Arcaner, so I'm just going to plug that again. Arcaner's joining us. We'll definitely have some more in-depth discussion with him about their games in HGC, and that'll be 3 weeks in. So this week was... Go ahead.
Arcaner, the former Nomia player, if you guys know him. He traveled, joined in, I think, late 2016. Or maybe mid-2016, came with them to BlizzCon, was one of the most successful players in ANZ, and then literally quit school to go to mid-season in 2017, and then moved to the UK so that he could play in HGC and truly become one of the best players in the world. So someone very ambitious, and he ended up on Team Method, which many people would say is a top 3 or top 4 team in the European HGC right now. So very cool story, and very excited to have him on as a guest.
And an amazing brand. I'm like all aboard the Method hype train personally because they're pretty OG in the WoW community. But looking at the standings, spoilers, You'll notice that we now have our front pack, right? And the front pack is Team Freedom, Team 12, and Tempo Storm. Freedom are the undefeated team here. Tempo Storm, they defeated Team 12, but lost to Freedom. And this has set things up in a really interesting setting for North America. Looking at the lower half here, LFM, they got a win. Who did they beat? Gale Force. And even last night, I stated this. I'm like, I don't know where Gale Force and Space Station stand, and they are in this bottom half. Currently, Simplicity, Heroes Earth, GFE, Space Station Gaming, LFM, literally 5 out of 8 teams have gone 1 and 2. So when it's the next couple of matches to kind of make your way towards the upper half mean a lot. But LFM defeating GFE, it went to game 5. That is a crushing blow for GFE, but a momentous occasion for LFM. That is confidence. That is, yes, we can do this. That is so big for that team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, and here's the insane thing, is that it was actually like a hard-fought series. Like, this was legitimately, it felt like a series where both teams clashed, traded blows, went to game 5, and then LFM clutched victory from the jaws of defeat. So this was not an easy win. This was not something it didn't deserve. This was 100% a well-deserved, well-fought series that shows a lot more potential than I would say any other Open Division team outside of Heroes Hearth, of course.
So Chad is saying that Michael Udall had a rough day. I mean, you can check his Twitter if you want to. Some personal stuff occurred, and I can totally sympathize with that. But the result is a result at the end of the day, right? Like, things happen, real life happens. You need to show up to work. You're a competitor, and I'm not saying I could do it. That's for sure, right? You know, if you're stressed out and something's happening and, you know, real life comes first, it is hard to perform 100%. Totally get it. But the end of the day, this is a big win for LFM. And that is, you know, something that gives them some movement and momentum in this season. But Team Freedom defeating Tempo Storm, which is considered to be, you know, a lot of people are calling them the God Squad, right? This is a lot of the top talent. Freedom with Lutano, you know, a player that was Open Division 1 year ago. He had just started his journey as an Open Division player, right? He had played in maybe 1 or 2 cups at this point a year ago. And here he is at the top of HGC NA. I freaking love that. That makes me so happy. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And, you know, you've also got the other storyline of Yoda, who was on
Roll 20.
Roll 20. What's that? Team 8 was on Team 8, turned the team into Roll 20.
Right.
Played with the team, got benched, and then played a tournament with them, and then left and had a really bad phase 2, and has now come back and again is on the top team in NA, which is a surprise because again, as well, Collusion, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, of course, on this team, and Zogrog and Nasmus. So definitely a strong team. So as much as I do like this team, and I do think they absolutely deserve their number 1 spot, I'm just gonna you know, come in and say I think it's quite possible they're not the best team in North America.
Wait, what happened? I have no drop frames.
Is it stuttering? Is it just audio?
I don't know. That's really weird.
Is it just me? Am I stuttering for you or just on Steam?
No, you sound fine to me.
Okay.
This is the weirdest. No issues on our end.
Is it still stuttering?
It sounds like it might be a Twitch side issue. Because I always
Okay,
know if there's an issue on my end, I see the red flags, but anyways, yeah, no, that's definitely an amazing start for them this season.
Okay, Jake, yeah, I've really got to push through this
Yes,
point before everyone in chat really lynches me this time. You know, Tyrael Trait was bad enough, but saying the team that's 3-0 and just beat Tempo Storm isn't the best team in NA is probably pretty bad in regards to people getting lynched. So basically, what happened is this week, if you look at how it plays out, Team Freedom had a game against Heroes Hearth, and then they had a game against Tempo Storm. So realistically, Heroes Hearth is a lower tier team than Team 12, right?
Yeah.
Which is who Tempo's first opponent was. So in my opinion, Tempo Storm were at a natural disadvantage where they had 2 series against the other top 2 contending teams for the #1 spot. In one of them, it was a very close series against Team 12, just clutched out the win. Then played Team Freedom, had a very close series against them, and Team Freedom were the ones who clutched out the win. So, in my opinion, this does not, in my opinion, prove they are the best in NA. This proves to me that they had the best performance in week 2. So, moving forwards, my current ranking is to put all 3 of Team 12, Tempo Storm, and Team Freedom on the same in Tier 1. And I would not be comfortable saying any of them were the best team in North America.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would challenge you. I don't think anybody would challenge you on that. That's totally reasonable, right? Because it's only 2 weeks into HGC. 3-0 obviously is a big win for them to have that win over Tempo Storm when it comes to the standings. When it comes to IEM Katowice, the first LAN of the year for that mid-season clash, that is a very meaningful win statistically. Does it make them better than Tempo Storm overall in every situation? If they were to rematch this weekend, would they be the favorite 70-30? No. These teams are very evenly matched. But that's exciting. That's exciting that we have 3 teams in North America that could all theoretically be the best, right? And maybe it's Freedom, maybe it's Tempo, maybe it's 12. Maybe Heroes Hearth can pull something out and become a top 3. I don't know. But that's fantastic for sure. And I'm super pumped to see what these teams can continue doing. LFM got that win, as we mentioned. Space Station Gaming got 3-0'd by Heroes Hearth. I mean, that is a devastating loss. This is a new team coming in from the open division. Space Station has a lot of talented players. They brought in Jay Shrite to flesh out their roster this season, and they're not seeing the success that they want just yet. I mean, again, there's talent here for sure, but getting 3-0'd by Heroes Hearth. Heroes Hearth is not a bad team. They're just a new team, but that's still a tough order. Simplicity. Also, I mean, you really got to look at Space Station Heroes Hearth Simplicity with a question mark still. Where are they? Where is Heroes Hearth? So many teams that are 1 and 2 in North America, and any of them can turn it around. But any of them could be Crucible as well.
I think the crazy thing to me right now is that, so Space Station Gaming definitely in trouble. When we're looking at these standings, like, we have to remember that some teams have had easier fixtures so far, some teams have had tough fixtures. So Team Freedom, for example, like going back to the example, they've played against Heroes Hearth, Gale Force, and Tempo. So they've had 2 lower tier teams and 1 top team. So their 3-0, while still impressive, is against like 2 matches we expect them to win, and then 1 they won against Tempo.
Yep.
Tempo's schedule, on the other hand, has included Team 12 and Team Freedom.
Right.
So the fact they got a win in one of those
means a lot.
In my opinion, puts them in a fine position. So even though they have 1 loss, I'd be happy with either the 3-0 or the 2-1, given the fixtures so far. Space Station, in my opinion, are in more trouble than the standings show, because even though they are 1 and 2, their only win is against LFM on week 1, who looks very weak.
Yes.
LFM on week 2 obviously looked a lot stronger to me. But they also lost convincingly, in my opinion, to the other teams that they played, which was Simplicity, I want to say, and one more.
Yeah, no, it's Heroes Hearth. They got 3-0'd. They got 3-0'd by Heroes Hearth,
Heroes
right?
Hearth, yeah.
And that's I agree. They are definitely in trouble. GFE, they went to Game 5 versus LFM. You know, people mentioned the Michael Udall, you know, real life situation, and it's totally something they can bounce back from. But Space Station got to dig deep, based on the results. Going 3-0 versus Heroes Hearth is tough. You know, getting your one win off LFM in this situation, like you said. So the season's young. We're only 2 weeks in. This is by no means like GG for any of these teams. Sometimes it just takes a patch to shift something in the game or just like one adjustment from one player to find the rhythm for your team. There's total room for recovery on all accounts, but it's still been a start regardless. On the side of Europe, Dig reigning supreme, and you know, I don't know if there's too much surprise in this, but I gotta talk about that Method Fnatic series. They are like Fnatic, you see them in 5 here, right? They're 1 and 2, but they really do feel like a top 3-4 team because they've had some fun matches.
So the insane thing to me is EU right now, like if we're doing a list of how we compare the EU teams, then it has to be said that I think your list is pretty much Dig, 6 teams, leftovers.
Monka S leftovers, press F to pay respects. But I agree 100% with that. I mean, it's insane. Like, yeah, Fnatic, they won that series versus Method, but Method showed a lot of promise in that series. Tricked has been showing up. Liquid has been showing up. Even Diamond Skin putting up great games so far in this season, and they all look great. But Dignitas looks untouchable. 9-0, haven't dropped a single map. Like, Dignitas is just slapping people around. Poik is a god.
The insane thing to me, actually, was that they won 3-0 against Method in the 3 easy games. Like, they were not close.
Yeah, it was.
And Method, by the way, realistically, in an alternate universe, could have followed Fnatic. They could have won every single game they played against Fnatic, and something was missing. That last 10%, Fnatic with some insane call calls, like you know, crazy things going on where Lucio's last auto flies through the air and last hits the core. Why is chat spamming bakery was the problem? I really wish you wouldn't do that.
I'm just being a dick. No, it's definitely not the case. I think Poik is the biggest the change in the new Dignitas squad, but also Fnatic just doesn't look as good as they did before. I don't think it's just like Dignitas looking better. I feel like the new Fnatic looks weaker, and that's contributing to this. And maybe Fnatic will find their groove again, but they definitely don't look like the Fnatic we saw slaying nerds at BlizzCon, right?
I think the thing is that so when you judge a team, you look at what the goals are of the team. So we look at Fnatic, and their goal is BlizzCon in a year's time. Okay, and their short-term goals, I don't really think they even care that much about Western Clash. I think they're mainly looking at mid-season as their first, like, that's when we need to be ready by. So realistically, I don't think Fnatic is dramatically underperforming from where they should have expected themselves to be. And again, we're going to have this issue because they are called Fnatic. They have 3 of the same players, but Bad Benny's roll swapping, Mene's roll swapping, Quacknix is roll swapping.
That's tough. That's
and
tough.
Beers and Spexy are the only 2 people left, basically. So this is a team very much in flux with their eyes on the long term. We should be expecting them to be in the 2nd or 3rd position with a big gap between Dig, who Dig's goal is we are going to build the best team and we are going to smash everyone.
Yeah.
And
far,
that's
so good.
exactly what they plan to do, and that's exactly what they're doing so far.
Yeah, and it's impressive. I mean, thinking about Korea, it's obviously things are shaking up over there as well. But Dignitas definitely looks like a team that can contest anyone globally, which is exciting. We can't say North America has a squad that looks like that yet. Yes, we do have the 3-0 in victories for the matches on the side of Freedom, but it's not like Dig. Dig is 3-0, 9-0 in games, dominant and convincing fashion in the European region, which has historically been stronger than North America. The team looks absolutely stellar right now. I'm not just saying this because Bakery works for Dignitas. It's the results are there. Like, they look fantastic. And Fnatic, they, I expect them to be number 2 still. But this whole list, as Bakery said, 2 through 7, it is that in these events, when it comes to the mid-season brawl, that is an attainable goal for any of these teams. Maybe not Diamond Skin.
Mid-season for EU, we have to remember, is most likely going to have 3 teams going. Now, that might seem like flame to NA. Sorry, NA. But realistically, we look at the results, we look at the Western Clash, which is, of course, a tournament on EU soil, and we have to expect that the top EU team at the time, be it Dig or indeed someone else who even manages to get up to their level, is going to be the victor of the Western Clash, which is in just over a month's time, I want to say.
Wow, yeah. It's not too far off.
Yeah, so like a month and a half away, I think. So it's definitely quite a short turnaround, and I don't think the NA is going to be able to catch up. So realistically, I think Liquid, Fnatic, Tricks, Method are in the running. Zealots as well, and including that list, are in the running for that 2nd or 3rd place at the end of Phase 1, Part 2.
I would agree. Obviously, some teams can just show up and be on fire in a weekend, so you never know what can happen in that kind of setting. But if I had to put my money on it, definitely think Europe is in a commanding position, especially with Dignitas in their state. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty crazy overall the way this season has started out. I mean, we talked about NA with some of the mix-ups there. Looking at the side of Korea, we're not going to go super in depth, but when you look at the Korean standings, the opening week, KSV losing in convincing fashion, and now Tempest are currently 9-0 in that region. But so is Ballistics. So KSV Black are now in that 3rd place position because they did lose that first series. But those are the only 3 games they've lost. They lost 3 games to Tempest. They've gone 6-0 since then. Ballistics and Tempest are both undefeated in their position, 9-0, 9-0 in their map results. Korea as their front runners for sure, but who is going to be the best for the Eastern Clash? And I'm a little bit out of the loop on China. I got to catch up. We're going to probably try to get Kendrick Swish on the show sooner than later to actually get a look at China and what's going on in that meta, because it's not something that I have a lot of time to look at. Have you watched much of it?
I have not watched much China,
yeah, okay.
no. But what I do know is that they are actually done, by the way. They did everything in I want to say 2 and a bit weeks. And they're now getting ready for playoffs, so all the teams are going to go away, and it is a monster step ladder bracket. So when we next see them, which I believe is going to be February 26th or something, it's really quite far away, maybe February 15th. It's going to be the 8th and 7th team playing each other, and the winner of that playing 6th, winner of that playing 5th, all the way up to the final 2 teams to see who wins. So that's going to be very exciting when that kicks off.
Lots of good stuff in the world of HGC, and if you haven't caught it yet, there's a new show they put out called HGC Minute. It's been on Reddit. It was on the launcher. I assume it's on the Heroes Esports channel, not the Blizz Heroes channel. YouTube.com/Heroes Esports. And it is 2 minutes long, so they need to rename it to HGC 2 minutes. That's for sure. Actually, I don't see it here. No, it's on the Blizz Heroes channel. Oh, no, never mind. It just had to refresh. So really cool video. Check it out if you haven't already. It's really a shame at how little viewership this channel gets. YouTube.com/heroes esports, not the Blizz Heroes channel, but these VODs average very, very low viewership. And this HGC Minute, which is your one-stop location to the best of every region, under 6K views. Heroes community, you got to band together. You got to spread the word. And I'm going to...
Well. I don't blame the Heroes community here. So here's the thing, Jake, is there are 44,000 people subscribed to this channel, okay? And I'm not one of them, you know? I love Heroes Esports. I want to see this kind of content. But if I subscribe to that, I get spammed with literally just randomly 40 videos in my sub box so I can see nothing else on my YouTube sub feed because they're just dumping VODs. And they're putting the content in the same place, so I won't see it because I'm not subscribed. Like, or I see a Heroes Esports video, I don't care, I'm moving on because it's been dumped alongside 40 other random videos of HGC China, which as a European, I do not have any interest in watching.
I wonder if there's a way to make it so a video doesn't give a notification.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want that appearing in the sub box. Like, I'm fine with it being there, but there's no reason for all that stuff to just be like just dumped. Like that's the word for it, just dumped down. Like, it needs to be somewhere. But personally, I really want to see two separate channels. I want to see Heroes VODs, and I want to see Heroes Esports, and I want to subscribe to Heroes Esports, and I want HGC Minute, and I want all that lovely, juicy content. Which is great stuff, by the way. Some of the stuff they produce, like HGC Oracle, for example, I had this same issue. It was just coming out dumped alongside the VODs, and it just, the YouTube algorithm doesn't work this way. It doesn't promote those videos.
Yeah, that's tough. I know firsthand that when I uploaded Bloodlust VODs, you see the comments, oh my god, spam, like what is this, blah blah blah. And I remember one day
I actually checked your subs. You lost about 200 subs from
in like
2,400 in like a day.
Yeah, in like a day from spam uploading VODs. So I get it. Yeah. And you know, people want the content, they want the accessibility, but unfortunately there's no solution that I know of for that kind of situation, because
two different channels, dude. HGC VODs,
two different channels,
Heroes Esports. Yeah. That's all you need. Dump all the VODs there. If people love the VODs, they can subscribe. You know, they can still get them. They can go to that channel when they want to see VODs. You can link it on your site. You can do everything. But all the content needs to go somewhere where it gets the spotlight it deserves, because especially HGC Minute was great content. Agreed.
So check it out. HGC Minute episode 1 is now live on YouTube. And again, like, I'm just gonna, like, I'm not Blizzard. I don't know what they say internally, but if these videos don't get results, if they don't get viewership, the content will not continue to exist. It just doesn't make sense. Every single resource that's put in needs to be justified, right? They'll have a quarter meetings at some point. This is just how business works, and say, okay, we're spending X dollars to produce this video. What's the actual return? And they're like, all right, well, I got 10,000 views. Blizzard's gonna be like, why are we doing this? So spread the word, right? And I want to keep reiterating this. Having a Twitter account, you know, engaging in the community, following pro players, following your favorite team, your favorite commentator, whatever, makes a difference, and it has to start somewhere. I've told the story a million times. When Smash started in 2014, when Melee started getting sponsors, these guys had 100 followers. These guys had no followers, and the community banded together. All the pros made Twitter accounts within like a 3-month window, right? None of them even had accounts. Go look at a few Smash Brothers Twitter accounts. You're looking at 100,000, 20,000 is low in that community. That is like nothing. And I mean, Bakery, you're like one of the top followed. I don't even know if you have 20K.
About 14, maybe. 15?
Yeah, case point, right? 20K is like a C tier commentator in Melee. Like, I'm not even. Yeah,
it's told me like that. Yeah,
and it's just, there's a lot of power in that kind of social media interaction, and it spreads the word for these kind of VODs. It's about building the community in the way we can. And obviously, you guys tuning into HGC, tuning into shows like this, you're already taking a big step towards increasing exposure, because someone clicks on Heroes of the Storm, they click on this show, they've been exposed to it. That's a big step for us, and so on and so forth. But share the love, spread the word, express your love for the game and the community, and help it grow. And it really does make a big difference with every single person.
I can definitely reiterate that message. Like, again, one of the major issues we have in here is that our viewership has always been completely fine, but transferring that viewership to other platforms has always been a real issue. And I've worked pretty extensively on the sponsor side. I've worked with personal sponsors, I've worked with non-endemic sponsors, I've worked with Team Dignitas, I've worked with other esports organizations in the past. And Heroes has always had a real issue of like, hey, the viewership's there, and that's why we're talking to you, but the Twitch, like personal viewership for a lot of the pro players is not there. The Twitter followers are not there, even slightly. Like,
not even close. No.
So yeah, like if as many people who watch Rocket League esports that use Twitter, like what's here is esports that use Twitter, like the same percentage of our esports fans use Twitter, then I would have, by my estimates, about, I want to say 60 or 65,000 followers. Like, you know, like the real issue with people just not interacting in other ways, and that just makes everything in here smaller. So again, I can definitely reiterate that message. If you are a big fan of Heroes of the Storm, then Twitter is a fantastic place to be. Twitch is a fantastic place to be. And even the subreddit, even the subreddit, guys, like reddit.com/Heroes of the Storm, /r/Heroes of the Storm, say, just participating in the community is a great way to help everything grow.
Agreed. And it's a big deal. It really does make a difference. So your homework is to each of you watch the HGC Minute at least 10 times to get that viewership up. Thanks, guys, because I want to see that number rise. I want that to be a very successful show because it's an amazing resource that Blizzard's putting out there. I think the impact it can have for just being like the, you know, that one stop, this is what's going on for the you know, someone that can't watch all the matches. It's an awesome resource. But we do have to go to the shout outs because Bakery, as a two-man, we've done a 2-hour show.
Surprisingly, it just flowed as well. You know, like
lots to talk about.
So heads up, guys, you know, like me and Jake, we find out it's only us two tonight, and we're like, damn, like this is probably going to be a really bad show. I guess we'll just try and like get the topics done and, you know, get out of there. Hopefully not overstay our welcome. Like if it's not going well, we'll just cut the show. And we've just literally just spoken for 2 hours, so I don't know how that happened. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching is my first shout out. Of course, shout outs to Team Dignitas, which is the organization that I now work for. I released my first public facing project pretty recently, which is the official Team Dignitas Discord server. And that's a place where all fans of Team Dignitas are basically able to interact directly with the players, directly with each other, and directly with the management. So if that sounds like something that you would be a fan of, then you can check out the link in the chat about now.
Jake and Bake. We're gonna rename the show Jake and Bake.
Jake and Bake.
That's just the duo. I like it. Cool, man. Well, obviously it's good to have you back after being a pirate and being sick for a few weeks. Dunk Train was out this week. Hopefully he's feeling better. I know he got like randomly ill like late last night on stream, and you know, that sucks. I want to give a shout out to Blizzard for having me involved with Open Division again, and HeroSite for doing a stellar job, and lastly Kala, my co-commentator for the HGC Open Division this year. We did our first ever cast together last night, and dude, it was so fun. Right, he's like a dedicated analyst. I love Jayhow to death, but Jayhow and I have a pretty similar casting style where like we both want to do play-by-play, and it made it tougher for me as a commentator because at the end of the day, I want to do play-by-play. I want to yell. I want to get hype. And if Jayhow and I are both always like turned up to 11, hype, trying to hype it up. It's a terrible experience to listen to. So I had to like step away from my normal casting style to balance it. And so did Jayhow when we cast together. And don't get me wrong, I love Jayhow. I really do. I sincerely love working with the guy. But working with a full-blown analyst like Kala is the style that that Kubi worked to emulate when I cast with him. And it almost feels like I've gone back home to that for my normal home stream, where it's just like I get to be the guy yelling a lot. And Kala is, I'm going to learn a lot just casting with him. He's got fantastic game knowledge. He is the community coach, as people like to call him. And it was a really fun first cast. Remember, if you want to play in the open division cups, you can go to heroeshype.com to sign up. It is free registration. As long as you have a full team of 5, you can play in these tournaments and maybe become a pro gamer in Heroes of the Storm like Lutano. Like I said, a year ago, we were casting him for like the first time, and now he's 3-0 in the HGC Pro League. So pretty dope stuff. And someone in chat just said Jayhow is doing a great job in HGC. He really is, dude. I'm absolutely loving seeing him on that big stage. Follow my stream at SolidJakeGG. I've been streaming Heroes about 40 hours a week. Last week was a big tomato farm stream. Maybe next week will be a big avocado stream or cucumber. Maybe we'll find a lettuce patch. We'll find out. Baker Rizzo, I need you to do Dunk Train shout out since he's not here.
So shout outs to everyone for watching. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You can check out my stream at twitch.tv/dunktrain. Right now I'm playing Sea of Thieves instead of coming on the show.
Peace out, everyone. See you next time. GG. Welcome here to TownHall Europe.
Happy birthday, sir!